Hello, this is Dorothy Smith. I'm close to my heart, independent consultant, and today I'm going to start showing you Into the Wild. These are some of our new papers from the May 1st catalog, and this happens to be the Deluxe Workshop. And the Deluxe Workshop has a little bit more complicated stuff than the normal workshops your way. And so you can see here on my my layout board that I've made some stencils, and you get the stencil sheet that's part of the Into the Wild Deluxe Workshop kit, and then you also get a Cricut Design Space layout that does all of these cuts for you. So it's really cool. All you have to do is feed in the paper and all those crazy cuts are made. And you know what I love are the stencils. You use the Artbooking cartridge, so that needs to be loaded to the Cricut Cloud for you to be able to use the Design Space. Now with these instructions, if you don't have one of the digital Cricuts, then you can use your old expression and it tells you exactly how to make all the cuts. So they suggest using the flip side of this paper, which is a grid, but I like the wood, and I wanted to use the wood side because I just really like the way it looks. And we're going to be using that wood stencil that I made. So I thought, oh, what the heck? I mean, it's not a super bold wood look. It's very subtle. And so anyway, here are two of the things that come with. You get a really cute stamp set, and you also get a new sponge. And gee whiz, I need a new sponge. So you also get the silver thread, which, you know, I love that silver thread. And to match the silver thread, you get some silver glitter gems, which are just really beautiful. They're really sparkly. So that's fun. I mean, you get something really useful in the sponge, and then you also get the glitzy things. Woohoo! So a lot of my sponges, they're the little corner things like that, and they're all kind of dyed from using them with ink. And so I'm going to throw some of the worst ones out. And this is how I make my sponge more manageable and last longer. So I make it into 6 pieces. So that way it's a little bit easier to handle. You get more surface area to work with the sponge, and you can share with a friend. So perfect. So the first thing that we're going to be doing is using charcoal, and I tell you, we use charcoal and fern and mink and peach and sapphire for these pages. Now I'm not going to use all those colors for the first layout, but you'll see them used in the subsequent layouts. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is one of the cuts that I made, and I'm using the lighter side. This is linen, which is a very pale gray, and I'm going to use the lighter side of it, and I'm going to use the mink ink to make a very subtle pattern of wood. So I'm going to use my spongy side of my Cricut Versamat. That's what it's called. It's a Versamat. And I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape to just kind of hold it in place. But a lot of those pieces are kind of floppy. So you don't want to, you're just going to tap the ink onto the linen cardstock. You're not going to rub it in any way because you'll smush it all over the place. So I'm just getting a little bit of ink, and like I said, this is very subtle, so I'm just getting some ink on my sponge and tapping. Whoops, need more washi tape. I'm tapping the ink onto the stencil. So you try to you can do a much better job of taping with washi than I did here. I would put it on all four edges so you don't have to hold it. And I'm just putting it, there's a little bit of an edge for you to tape on. So they actually suggest that the technique that they want you to use is to rub the sponge on the ink pad. Actually, my Mink ink pad needs to be re-inked. I'm gonna have to re-ink it because it's really, really dry. But because you don't want a really bold pattern, it's really fine for this. But I do need to ink up my ink pad, my stamp pad a little bit. Anyway, I'm getting, some ink on there and just tapping it in place. And you will be surprised. It doesn't really look like much, but you'll be surprised at how much of the pattern you actually see after I lift it up. So, tap, 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 tap. That's how we're going to do this technique. So, the Artbooking cartridge is really good with patterns, not just the wood and the chevron, but they have all sorts of patterns. They have lattice work, and so you can make every kind of pattern that you want. See that? I mean, that's kind of amazing, isn't it? I was floored when I picked it up. So I thought, well, this is just not showing very much, and then poof, there it is. So I'm just moving my stencil over to the other side, and now I'm going to continue on with that. And then I will do the same thing to the linen cardstock on the right-hand page and just get all that inking done at one time, since I'm kind of used to getting, the more you do something, the better you get at it. So you get a little bit more efficient as you do it more. The first time you do it, you're kind of awkward, and then all of a sudden it doesn't take me near as long. So that's the first page, and I really love the way it looks. Daisy's next to me. She has to have some scritches, but I think she's telling me she needs to eat. But she'll take scritches for the time being. So, anywho, here I go on the second part. And now, this is when I actually read the instructions, where it says to rub the sponge on the stamp pad and then tap onto the stencil. So I'm actually doing a better job of getting the ink on the sponge. I'd be so much better off if I would just read the instructions before I do anything. But who wants to read instructions? So anyway, it's inking the sponge up much better by rubbing it back and forth rather than tapping on the stamp pad. So it's actually going better and doing a little bit better job of it. But I'm not too worried about it, because this is going to be the background for the photos. And the left page is going to get 2 4x4 photos, and the right page will get a 4x4 and a 4x6. Of course, I actually put a 3x3 there first, thinking, gee, that doesn't look right, but what can you say? Okay, so there's this, and this is a larger side of it's bigger than the one on the left-hand side. So, but it doesn't take me long to do it. So anyway, I'm just kind of going along. I really should be playing music, because this is hurting my throat to talk so much. Funny, I can do that with my girlfriends and never have my throat hurt. Anywho, we're going to tap along here. Hello, Daisy. There we go. Not too bad. Not too bad. Is that fun? I think that's really fun to have a to be able to make your own stencils. And I love that they give you a stencil sheet. It's like 8 by 12 stencil. So I'm going to go through my Artbooking cartridge and just see what other kinds of stencils I can make. I'm saving all my stencils because it's kind of a plastic material. So you can just, wipe them down with a baby wipe and put them in a little notebook, like a little 6x8 notebook. That's what I do. I save all my stencils. I get little page protectors that are like 6x8 page protectors, and I put the stencils in them. So I'll eventually get a stencil collection where, I can just pull out stencils when I get inspired. And so I'm actually using the kind of goldish color is Goldrush, and I'm using the lighter side of the Goldrush. The other side is a pretty strong color. So I'm using the lighter side of it, which is really part of the instructions. And the Goldrush actually goes down, I think, 4 1/3 inches, 4 1/8 inches maybe, 3 1/8. Anyway, it's in the instructions. And then I put the stars on the top and the bottom, and those are, about maybe 1.5 inch strips by 9 inches or so. And the diamonds are just kind of carrying you to the edge of the paper on both sides. So I'm just making sure I have everything pointed in the right direction here. So I've got the longer pieces on the wrong side. So they go on the left-hand side, and the shorter stars go on the right-hand side. So almost made a mistake there. Got too much stuff on my workshop. How do I always end up with? It's like my desk. My desk ends up looking like chaos. I'm there for 10 minutes, and everything looks like chaos. Well, that's my work top is the same way. So anyway, I'm just kind of putting the wood grain on the Goldrush on this side and kind of matching it up with the left-hand side, because you want them to kind of be continuous and not be off from one another. So anyway, I'm really liking the way this layout goes. It's not, terrifically strong colors, but I really like that because it's really going to make the pictures just jump out at you. So there we go. Then I just kind of put the stars in place, and then the little kind of a triangle pattern up top, and the triangles to the left there. So I think the triangles to the left, they go down to 4 1/8, and the Goldrush is like 3 1/8. So there we go, coming along. Not taking terrifically long. So we put that up there, and then this is a strip. We have one of our papers, or two of the background and texture papers are real fun cutout sheets, and this one has a moose on it, so I'll try to remember to show you the moose on the next one because he's really cute. But that triangle strip, that's one of the strips that are cut from that particular page. We get a lot of elements off of the cutout pages, and gonna take my circles that get cut in half, and believe it or not, the Cricut did cut the circles in half too. And so I'm taking the little open arrow and the 2 little trees, and I have some other elements that were cut off of the cutout page, and I'm also going to do some additional stamping. So I think what I need to do is get some scrap paper in Goldrush and in white so I can do the stamping that's necessary. So I'm probably going to step away for a second to pick up some white and some Goldrush. But in the meantime, I'm going to make, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm making some dashed lines, like stitching lines, around the peach half circles on the top and bottom. And we actually only use 3 of the half circles. But I think what I'm going to do is put the remaining one up there at the top on the right hand page, and that can be a place to put a date or a place or something, but it can be a little journaling element. So I think that's what I'm going to do with that half circle, because I don't think it gets used again, but I guess I probably need to read my instructions. That would be a clever idea, Dorothy. Anyway, this is another one of those strips that's cut from the cutout page. So anytime you see those triangles on the back, that's from the cutout page, one of the elements from the cutout page. So that's just going to go up there at the top, so that can be, you know, a journaling for who it is or whatever you want. So the stamping that I'm going to do, I'm going to use, let me see, 1, 2, I think 3, 4 of the stamps for this particular layout, which, you know, it's kind of nice to use the stamps, you know, for with a lot of the workshops your way. The regular ones, you don't do any stamping. So for the people who don't like to stamp, then you can do the regular workshops your way, and those layouts are fine. But for the people who miss doing the more complicated layouts, who want to develop some, you know, other techniques for scrapbooking, then the deluxe workshops are really the way to go, because they're giving you instructions on new techniques. That's what I'm trying to say, new techniques. So I went ahead and seasoned the stamp on my old skin. And, you know, I'm surprised. I used to stamp like 3, 4, 5, 10 times to get a good seasoned stamped image without rubbing it on my skin before I saw somebody do that. And this is like one shot and you're getting a good stamp right off the bat. So I like that. So the Great Outdoors gets stamped in charcoal, and the mountain peaks get stamped in sapphire. And I'm not too worried about the fact that I made a mess on the block, because that's all going to get cut off. Now I'm just cleaning off. And you notice that the sapphire, it stains the acrylic stamps very quickly. Now the charcoal gray didn't do that. You would think the charcoal would have done it, but the sapphire does. But you know, don't let discolored stamps bother you, because they work exactly the same way. I mean, the first time I saw stained stamps, I thought, oh, I don't want those. And not really getting the fact that it's no big deal. It doesn't do anything to the usability of the stamp. So I'm just taking the Great Outdoors and making a little banner out of it, and then I'll back it in Goldrush. It failed me for a minute. And I'm going to cut out the mountain peaks. This must be mountain peaks at sunset time for them to be blue. You would think you would do it in white ink on green cardstock, but you know what? I have a tendency to be too much of a realist, and so it's just fine to, you know, have things be a different color. I mean, what's a big deal? So let it go, let it go. Anyway, I promise I won't do that again. Okay, so I'm just cutting out the mountain tops, and I'm making kind of a little tab. So the mountain peaks are going to be peeking out from under the great outdoors. So I'm just filling in with a little bit of the charcoal ink. I could have used the sapphire, but I just wanted to get rid of the white edge there. Normally we leave a little white edge, but they're showing to cut it right down to the edge, which I kind of like the way that looks. Wonder what I'm looking for. Oh, there I am. I'm looking for that Goldrush piece. So I'm just trying to see if there was another piece that was a little bit smaller, but I'll go ahead and use that. It's no big deal. I think it was cut for that, but we'll see. It could be I'll be missing a Goldrush strip later on down. No, I didn't read the instructions. Hey. Okay, here we go. Just kind of matching the banner cut on both sides. And this is not a perfect banner, just so you know. It's really long on one end and not so much on the other, but I don't care. That's fine. That's an okay way to do it. So let me put my pad out of the way. I have to tell you, this Versamat, if you don't have a Versamat, that really needs to be part of your tools. It gets used all the time. It's perfect for, like, the stamping for the stencil was bigger than the little squishy pad that comes with all of our stamps. So you don't have to worry about moving it over when when you're using the back of the Versamat. And so I would strongly suggest, if you don't have one, it's not a real expensive tool, but it helps you lay things out on the grid part and helps you with stamping on the soft part. And the soft part also keeps the Versamat from scooching around on your table. So, if you don't have one, I strongly suggest you get one, just for your own benefit. You can make straighter layouts using the grid. Okay, so I'm going to do a little stamping, and I think I'm using charcoal, and I'm going to stamp onto the Goldrush. Yeah, I'm using charcoal. And I think it says Our Adventures, and that's going to go on the inside of that arrow. So, and then I'm going to put the arrow on top, and so the inside of the arrow is going to be Goldrush, which, that's cute. I like that. So I'm just putting some Tombow on the back side. There's not a back side or a front side to that, so one of the sides. And then I just place it on top of the strip of Goldrush. And then I cut off the excess. And there you go. Then you have, a little arrow that has gold on the inside and a white outline. So nothing real complicated, but it looks nice. So almost done with the cutting. There we go. Got it. I like that. They've done a really nice job with these layouts. I can't wait to make the triangle one for you, because that one is it's a single page layout. We also are doing pocket page layouts. So I'll be making a pocket page layout probably on the next layout set. Anyway, so you kind of get a chance to see what that's all about. And it's a very fast way of doing scrapbook layouts. Very, very fast. So you get a 2-page layout with this, a single page layout, and some pocket pages. So that pretty much that covers a good portion. And then I'll be doing the cut above, which is the simplest of scrapbook pages that only take 30 minutes, and you get two-page layouts. So I'll be doing that one also. So you'll get like four videos from this, and you would have had 5, because I would have been able to show you what all the papers look like, because I actually thought I was making a video of the cuts, all the additional cuts other than the Cricut cuts. And when I finished it, I looked up and realized I didn't hit record. So I apologize for not being able to show you what these papers look like. But all I can say is I have some back problem right now. My dog yanked my back out of whack. I was trying to keep her from running, and she yanked the heck out of me, and she's like a 50-pound muscle. So anyway, there's the great outdoors. I tucked the little tab of the mountains underneath the great outdoors, put it on top of the little peach circle, and then these little adorable little trees are a couple of the Cricut cuts. Even that tiny. I mean, how cute is that? That would have been kind of a pain in the butt or I shouldn't say that. That would have been kind of a pain to cut those out. So the Cricut did it for me very quickly too. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with that layout. The only thing I have to add to it is the little bit of glitz with, God, Daisy is being so insistent on getting scratched. It's driving me nuts. Anyway, I'm going to put some of the silver thread around the bottom of the arrow there, the blue arrow, the sapphire arrow, and just let the tails be a little bit long and hang out there. So just tie it one way and then tie it the other. I look kind of awkward doing it, but it's real thin thread to try to tie. So I hope you can see that. It's kind of hard for me to see it while I'm doing this. Next thing I'm going to do is add some of the silver glitter gems up there. Just nothing, nothing outrageous, just a little bit of glitz in one spot, and that's it. So I just put 3 up there, I think. Bunk. Daisy, did you bonk your head? So there, I think I'm finished with that page. And now we're going to go to the right hand page. And so I've already put down the portion that's going to hold the pictures. And then I put the little stars in place. And see, these aren't very long at all. They're just a continuation of the one on the left. So I put that, the top and the bottom. And then I think, is the other triangle strip from the cutout sheet. And then I have a few, this is an element. This is also from the cutout sheet. It's a little tag. And so I'm going to, I didn't bring my hole punch into the video room. So I'm going to just kind of put my scissor in the hole and kind of ream it out that way. And then I'll put a little strip of the star paper to be the little tag that comes, the little strip that comes out of the tag. So the next thing is going to be, my dog stinks. She needs a bath. Okay, I'm going to do sapphire, and look at that. I put it right down on my soft pad, face down. What a nudge. Okay, so love this place. Now, before I go and mess something up, I've got to go clean up my mess. And just kind of, I'm using a baby wipe to take the ink off of the sponge. Dodo head. Oh well, what can you say? So I'm going to cut that out, clean it off, clean off my stamp, and see, once again, it's another, it got dyed immediately with that sapphire blue. I don't know what's in sapphire blue, but boy, it's strong. So I'm just going to cut that out, and I think that's the only element I have left to stamp, I think. Anyway, like I said, I think it's really nice to have the stamp. Now this particular one I'm going to pop up with some foam circles, and I'm going to tuck, so I wasn't thinking the usual. I meant to tuck some silver thread underneath this element, but I will take the thread and make a circle of it around my fingers and then attach it to a small dot, double stick dot, and kind of tuck it under that little, I don't know, what do you call that? It's kind of like a badge. Kind of looks like a sheriff's badge or something. And so I just took a scrap of the little star paper and made a little strip to go through the hole, which is off camera, as you might notice, because that's what I do. And I'm going to keep it in place, I'm just going to staple it with our mini stapler. And I actually stapled it the right way this time, with the front of the staple on top. Clever, right? Okay, so I have to add one more peach circle. Got to put my little stitches on. And then Tombow on the back, and then put it up against the Goldrush. And these colors are really pretty. The fern and the sapphire and the peach with the grays. It's really pretty. So that's room for a 4x6, and I put a 3x3, but that's not where a 3x3 goes. It's a 4x4 goes there, which looks a whole lot better than the 3x3. The 3x3 is just not in scale. So, but once again, I didn't read the instruction to see that it was actually a 4x4. I just saw a square. Oh, it doesn't go against the Goldrush. It goes against the picture. That's right. And then the tag goes on top of that. And the tag is a little long. You could have gotten tucked under the picture a little bit. Or I could have moved the 4x6 over to the left a little. And so there I am putting the foam dots on there, and this would be a good time to make loops of the silver thread and attach it to the back of that little badge. This would be the time to do it, rather than me putting it down. But you know what, it's okay. So now this is a zip strip, and so I'm just cutting it to size to go under that picture to kind of finish the picture off. Here we go. And this side is just about done, except for the silver thread and the silver embellishments. So I hope you enjoyed doing this. I really kind of like doing this stencil work. And I hope you consider, if you haven't already, subscribing to my YouTube channel, and give me, you know, feel free to leave a comment. You know, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. So I'm just putting the little silver glitter dots, glitter gems, actually not dots, but glitter gems, in place. Got my silver thread in place. And see how that peach circle, half circle, would look really good up at the top to just add a little bit more journaling. But, you know, for me, too much is not enough. I have a tendency to overdo things. So I think I'm finished. And then I go back and look, and I hadn't put my placeholders, my picture placeholders, on the left-hand side. And really, you do not have to do this. You can put any size picture you want there, wherever, whatever fits, whatever works for you. So you could put, you know, a 4x6 in there, and this is 2 4x4s. So you'd probably be cutting down a 4x6. That's Daisy. She's making noises at me. I think she hasn't been fed yet, and she's probably really hungry. So anyway, that's where the 4x4 pictures go, and see how that 3x3 just looks like it's out of scale over there. So I'm gonna take it off, use it for later on, and put a 4x4 there. No big deal. I don't put these on with a whole lot of tape in case I don't want to use that and I want them to come off. So there's my pages, and I hope you like them. I think they're really cool for your, you know, if you're going on a vacation and going doing anything in the great outdoors, then these would be great layouts for you to do, to put your summer pictures in their place of being cherished and looked at years to come. So I really like this layout. I'm just kind of clearing off my table because I always have junk all around. And there we go. And so I'm pretty happy with this layout. I hope you are too. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. Bye now.